Muscle growth is an adaptation process, that is, the muscles and the entire body as a whole are rebuilt to accommodate new loads. Muscles, they become bigger and stronger only when there is a physiological need for this, when the body feels that the previous strength is not enough. To ensure its survival, the body becomes stronger and more resilient where it is needed. Accordingly, if the exercises that you do every morning have become habitual for you, then it is unlikely that your muscles will grow, since the body feels that the muscle volume that you have corresponds to the performance of these tasks. The fact is that initially, when you begin to perform a movement, a small number of muscle structures are involved in the work. Then, as you continue to perform this movement, additional muscle fibers are connected, and if they are missing, then all the others. This is the difference between strength work and cardio. When you walk or run lightly, the body engages a small number of muscle fibers and moves exclusively due to them, and in fact, during cardio, you only have a small percentage of those muscle cells that can be active. But during strength work, where we perform a bench press for 6 repetitions, we first engage some muscle fibers, then others, and from repetition to repetition we engage more and more muscle structures that work simultaneously, and the closer we are to our conditioned failure, that is, the inability to perform further movements, the more and better the muscles are involved in the work. Physiological failure is when we are physically no longer able to perform the exercises. Psychological, or internal, is when there is no longer any moral strength to endure. It can also be a near failure, when we already feel that we won't be able to pull off the last repetition, but we no longer test our muscles for strength. There are quite a few types of refusal. In fact, they differ in the degree of their rigidity, and it is obvious that the more severe the failure, the more muscles were involved in the work. But it is important to understand that such severe failures are reflected by the load on the nervous system. This affects both the overall recovery time and well-being in terms of quality of vitality. Hard failure training can be quite exhausting, so classic failure is when you finish an exercise without breaking your technique. That is, when you have done 8 repetitions and can no longer do the 9th without some kind of technical violation. This is a classic refusal. It does not put a strong load on the nervous system, but we have the opportunity to include maximum muscle structures in the work. Also, from time to time in training you can use more severe failures, including cheating, negative repetitions and supersets. This helps to periodically use the muscles to their fullest and provoke their growth. Now let's talk about whether it's possible to progress without failures at all. Let's say you start training. Today you benched 60 kilograms without failure, in a month, 65, in another month, 70, and everything seems to be without failure. But the fact is that beginners have a huge hidden potential, which is called the amount of active cell mass. Roughly speaking, for beginners, half of the existing muscles are in a dormant state, and those that are more or less active are not sufficiently filled with nutrients. Therefore, progress can be felt without giving up approaches, and so, with the help of refusals, progress is much faster and more noticeable. Therefore, in order to progress, refusal approaches are definitely needed. But it's not so much that your eyes pop out of your head during every approach at every workout, you need to know when to stop in everything. Subscribe to the channel and leave comments, this will help the channel grow.